If you've ever stood in your garden, held a small seed in your hand, and wondered how ancient farmers once grew jaw-dropping, giant crops without chemicals, synthetic fertilizers, or expensive tools, you're not alone. I've asked the same question. And the deeper I dug into old agricultural methods, stories passed down in whispers, hidden in dusty journals, and tucked inside traditional farming cultures, the clearer it became. There was a secret, a real one. A natural potion farmers used for centuries. But strangely, almost nobody talks about it anymore. Today, I want to share this forgotten practice with you, not as a myth, not as a magical cure-all, but as a proven method that still works shockingly well. Whether you're a backyard gardener or someone dreaming of their first raised bed, this is a resource you'll want to return to again and again. The ancient potion I'm talking about isn't an expensive product, it isn't synthetic, it isn't even complicated. It's fermented plant juice, often shortened to FPJ, and it has been used for centuries in various farming cultures, most notably in East Asia. This natural liquid fertilizer was the backbone of what many traditional farmers relied on to boost plant strength, survival, and size, long before commercial fertilizers ever existed. And when I say giant crops, I'm not exaggerating. Farmers used FPJ to improve root development, increase nutrient uptake, and speed up plant growth. Gardeners who still use it today swear it creates bigger leaves, heavier fruits, and stronger stems. But despite its effectiveness, this method quietly slipped out of common knowledge when industrial farming and mass-produced fertilizers took over. Now it's time to revive it. You know, one thing I love about FPJ is just how alive it is. Commercial fertilizers give plants nutrients, but they don't improve the life of your soil. FPJ works differently. When plants are growing at their healthiest stage, usually early morning, right after dew, they contain the highest concentration of growth enzymes and natural hormones. When we ferment these young plant tips or vigorous weeds, those growth compounds multiply. The result is a nutrient-dense liquid filled with enzymes, beneficial microbes, natural plant hormones, and readily available minerals. Plants recognize it instantly because it's made from their own biology. That's why FPJ doesn't just feed plants, it supercharges their natural growth systems, and unlike synthetic fertilizers, it won't burn roots, destroy soil life, or upset nutrient balance. So, this is gardening the way our ancestors did it, gentle, natural, and honestly, incredibly effective. You might be tempted to grab your favorite vegetable leaves for this mixture, but, well, the real secret lies in choosing the most vigorous plants in your garden, not just the prettiest ones. Ancient farmers understood something clever. The strongest growers actually share their strength. That's why they used fast-growing plants like comfrey, rich in potassium, perfect for boosting flowering and fruiting. Sweet potato leaves, which are just full of growth hormones. Grasses, excellent for general plant vigor. Nettles, which are mineral-dense and nutrient-packed. Chickweed or purslane, those are high in enzymes and moisture. And young bamboo shoots, if you can get them, are concentrated natural growth boosters. Even the weeds we complain about, well, they're powerhouses of nutrients, precisely because they grow aggressively. When you ferment these vigorous plants, you actually capture their energy and convert it into a growth tonic your garden will love. One reason FPJ fell out of the spotlight is that modern gardeners assume it's, complicated, but ancient farmers created it with nothing more than plants, sugar, and time. That's it. Here's how it's been done for hundreds of years. Take a handful of the healthiest, fastest-growing plant tips you can find, chop them into small pieces to help release their juices, mix them with an equal weight of brown sugar or, unrefined sugar. The sugar pulls moisture out of the plants and, feeds the beneficial microbes. Place the mixture loosely in a clean jar, cover the top with a breathable cloth, and leave it in a warm, shaded place. After about a week, you'll notice liquid collecting at the bottom. That's your fermented plant juice, your ancient growth potion. Strain it, store it in a dark bottle, and dilute before use. A common ratio is 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. This simple process, unchanged across centuries, creates a liquid fertilizer more potent than most modern products. But the magic isn't just in how it's made, it's in how your plants respond. This potion isn't only for seedlings or vegetables, it improves the whole garden ecosystem. Use it on seedlings, and you'll notice faster leaf expansion and stronger stems. The natural hormones help young plants overcome transplant shock effortlessly. Spray it on leafy greens, and they get larger, thicker, and richer in color. Apply it during flowering, and you'll see more blooms and better fruit set. Feed it to fruiting crops like tomatoes or squash, and they respond with heavier yields and improved vigor. And because FPJ is gentle, you can use it throughout the growing season without fear of burning or overdosing your plants. The goal isn't to force plants to grow unnaturally, it's to help them reach their full genetic potential. A potential many gardeners have never seen because their soil was never truly alive. With something this effective, it's natural to wonder, if this works so well, why doesn't everyone use it? Two reasons explain its disappearance. When commercial fertilizers hit the market, they promised quick, standardized results. They were easy to measure, easy to package, and easy to sell in hardware stores. Ancient methods didn't fit into an industry built for mass production. FPJ requires patience, observation, and a connection to the plants themselves. In a world where speed became the priority, slow wisdom got pushed aside. But as more gardeners realize the limits of synthetic fertilizers, this ancient practice is resurfacing, not in textbooks or dusty farming manuals, but in the hands of home gardeners like you and me. You don't need a farm, special tools, or even experience. You only need curiosity and a willingness to try something different. Use FPJ as a foliar spray early in the morning. Plants absorb nutrients through their leaves best at sunrise. Add it to your watering can every 2 weeks during active growth. Use weaker dilutions, like 1 teaspoon per gallon, for seedlings. And, you can strengthen compost piles by adding a splash of FPJ to boost microbial activity. It's one of those rare garden practices that works in nearly every situation. As long as you dilute it properly, you'll see improvements in vigor, resilience, and yield, often within weeks. What I love most about FPJ isn't just the results, it's the philosophy behind it. It reminds us that gardening isn't about forcing growth, it's about understanding nature deeply enough to cooperate with it. When you create FPJ, you're tapping into a cycle of renewal, transformation, and life that farmers have respected for generations. And once you start using it, you'll understand why they kept it close to their chests. If you enjoyed this story and want more powerful, forgotten, and field-tested gardening knowledge, be sure to subscribe to Soil Stories and share this article with another gardener who loves discovering new, old secrets. Let's keep these traditions alive, one garden at a time. Soil Stories and Dalper Maya, Adomo Babain Dam.